What kept me from getting in place was because I had frequent drug activity.
And I maintained my own business for more than 20 years. But then my back and my body couldn't do that line of work anymore.
In 2018, originally, I lost my condo. There was a leak in the unit above my unit.
I've been homeless since I was 15 years old. Once my grandmother passed away, my family didn't want me, so I had to hit the streets.
I first became homeless because me and my ex, we split, and so I pretty much had to leave the home.
I used to have a lot of money. I used to have a lot of cars. I used to have nice things. Now I have nothing.
I got kicked out of a $650,000 house that my brother owns, and the next day I was sleeping behind the maintenance shed at Royer Park.
Drugs and alcohol were getting in the way of me paying for rent.
When COVID hit, I lost my job, and I lost everything after that.
Start by telling us your names.
I'm Wes, and this is Connie. And we've been homeless, living out of our car for 8 years now in the Roseville area. We're living off of help of others and a prayer, in a manner of speaking. Between the two of us is Social Security or social insecurity income. We make about $1,500 a month. And on that amount of money, we have a choice. We can eat and have fuel, or we can have a roof over our head for 2 weeks.
And see, I wake up at 5:30 every morning because the spot that I sleep in, we got to be out of there by at least 6 o'clock. So I'm up at 5 and I'm out. And everything I have or everything I own, my home lives on my back. I have a backpack. Everything I need is in there. So when I wake up, I usually go to the park because their bathroom's open early. So I go use the bathroom over there. And then I walk all the way back to the Civic Center and I wait for the Civic Center to open. And then I usually go in there and I wash my face and everything. And then I go with my buddy Drew to his coffee shop, Big Tree off of Vernon. We sit there for 2 hours until Salvation Army opens. We go to Salvation Army, we get our food, then we go to the library. We drop all our stuff off, we charge our phones and everything, and then we come here to eat. And then after here, I go back to the Civic Center to get into my work clothes, and then I take the bus because my bus is at 1:20 for me to get there at 3. And then I work up until 11:30, Monday through Friday, and then I walk 2 hours all the way back to my spot to go to sleep. So that's my daily routine.
We live in a tent next to the creek. That we've had there for quite a while. We keep to ourselves. We're pretty quiet. We don't bring nobody to our spot. We sleep at night. We go there every night. That's us going home. That's our sense of stability.
So we keep our thing really clean, and so we're very unobtrusive. But our days usually start at bright and early, 7:30, 8 o'clock. We get up, we get dressed, we go take our 1.5-mile walk to town. We go to Salvation Army and get food there. We go to whatever the closest bathroom is usually, because that's the first thing on our minds is where to go. Yeah. And we're trying to be unobtrusive and not leave messes for the city to find.
Yeah.
So usually it's the Civic Center. We'll go there and get cleaned up and brush our teeth, our hair, stuff like that.
Because they have mirrors.
Yeah, mirrors are handy.
And hot water.
And
yeah.
Yeah, then we'll move on from there to
The library.
the library or whatever we have to do. Check the mail, check at the post office. It's usually on the way. So, general delivery, and check to see if we get any, anything from anybody. Any random olive branch or unexpected windfall that we can, get.
Yeah.
But usually it's empty. But it's part of a routine so that we're able to maintain some semblance of stability.
We don't get showers all the time, so baby wipes are our best friend.
Oh, yeah.
It's basic survival every day. Nowhere to eat, nowhere to go to the bathroom, nowhere to sleep.
Day to day, I wake up, pack my stuff up, make sure everything's clean. I like to keep my clothes so I haven't washed them,
When I get up in the morning, I usually start to figure out who needs to buy bike parts. I fix bikes, I sell bikes. I try to get the best things I have in bike accessories, and I try to go sell them.
I go to 7-Eleven, I go get me something small to eat, because when I first get up, I'm hungry.
I have a car. I live in my car. Now that it's hot, I try to find shade, because it's hot to park in.
It isn't easy everyday life being homeless. I was gifted with a van, so it made it a little simpler in the nights because I could sleep in my van. But even that was scary out there because there was no real place to park that was safe, except for the Habitat for Humanity, which I was in, and it didn't house me either.
And there's no place to shower. There's no place to cool down. Even at the library, they say it's a cooling center. I don't feel any air conditioning in there.
I do not have complete access to the bathroom, but there is many of the wooded areas. There's Chevron on Vineyard. They had to have a bathroom. If I could make it there, then that's how I use the restroom. But if I couldn't make it to a restroom, then I just go where I can privately.
I mostly use the bathrooms at the park to either clean up or go to the bathroom.
Most places I go, I try to stay out of the sun and all that type of stuff. I go to the hospital quite a bit where I'm at. I use their restrooms for, cleaning up, using restrooms or anything I can, I'll clean up there because they have the general neutral restrooms. So there's nobody in there and I could just go in there and stay 15, 20 minutes just cleaning up.
Go to the park probably, find a safe spot to hang out, without anyone pretty much terrorizing us. We struggle with transportation and a place to sleep, right? So I'll get a bike and it'll be gone by the end of the month,
I'd find a place in a bush where nobody could see me and just throw my blanket down.
I'm up probably for about 20 to 21 hours a day just because there's that fear of always being on the street. I'm not really secure or safe anywhere that I go. Then when it comes to food, around here in Roseville, there's actually a lot of decent places to eat. I love coming here on Mondays. It's a great place. I would go to the Salvation Army for their food pantry so you can get, crackers or tuna or little box meals. They have stuff in the refrigerator as well. And then I will also go to St. Vincent de Paul. They usually have warm meals that they'll make. They'll make macaroni and cheese or hot dogs, something that can sustain you throughout the day. And that's, it's flavorful. It's nice to have something that, somebody else made.
I hit Methodist Church on Mondays. Saturdays over at Salvation Army, breakfast.
All right, how do I survive day to day? Basically, from the nonprofit organizations, you guys help out a lot with me, helping out with food. Certain places like 7-Eleven will give me water, so that's very grateful.
So we would get up, I would head to the Salvation Army, get some, food to eat.
I survive day to day by the community resources, the lunches and stuff they have, Salvation Army, Methodist Church.
If it weren't for places like this church and St. Vincent's and Salvation Army, we'd be starving to death.
And like we go to all the lunches and stuff every week too. So we're here on Mondays at Methodist. We go to Vinny's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. We go to Salvation on Fridays. We do the Salvation breakfast on Saturday morning. So we make sure we're well fed.
To Gathering Inn, they don't have an open door policy anymore, but I get on the list to get into the program so I can go ahead and still get their daily meals and everything from them. I get their clothes from them. I get food from them, but you got to be on the list and you got to stay clean. But they somehow overlook the clean part.
And it took a few days, but they accepted me into the gathering. And I'm allowed to go there during the day and take a shower, but I have to be out of there by between 8 and 3.
I stay over at the Gathering Inn. That's where I stay out most of the day, just to get out of the heat alone.
I was in the program of Gathering for 26 days on my own, stayed drug-free the whole time on my own. Been around my friends who do drugs, it didn't bother me, but I had to leave the program because somebody was antagonizing me.
There's not enough housing right now at the moment, and so I just have to keep going.
It's hard, even with a job, to find housing. Like the programs, I don't qualify for because I make too much. And then those who can qualify for it don't take advantage of it.
Kaiser has a place that said they give me the first month's rent and second month's rent, and all that in one thing where I won't see the money. It'll go straight to the renter. And then that can get me my foot into the door for that. The only address that I can use is like the Roseville post office one, and they have a general delivery there.
I slept at the Adventist church in Auburn, and I slept here on the creek in Roseville.
And I'm working with social services for housing.
After getting in trouble with the police, I realized it was time for me to, he said, I no longer want you homeless on the streets no more. So I got myself inside of a homeless shelter.
I usually do have food stamps. It's just my food stamps run out so quickly because I do like to help the other people around me. When you're homeless, you tend to find a community of people that you can surround yourself with, that you can trust and you can confide in, and that really kind of gets you through, each difficult day.
And being kind gets you the most out of anyone out here, and we strive to do that. We strive to be kind, and we strive to be the better people and be the example for others to get out.
It's a big help when you're having a rough day and you walk up to a bunch of people that you see every day because they're out here with you and their faces light up for that brief moment at where before it was just, bleak despair.
I've entwined myself with a group of friends that are all in the same boat where we can talk together and we can, do that. And it's more of a socializing, going there and communicating with somebody than it is just to eat.
As long as we stick together out here in the streets, it's all right. But you gotta do the right thing, and the next right thing will happen.
All of us kind of helping each other really in a little bit, in a sense. It comes to certain things, like if I don't have I have a couple of friends out here and they'll help me out, so.
I've never been arrested, so I don't want to go down that path. I've never done drugs, so I don't want to go down that path. So I just kind of surround myself with those like-minded people like me, where we can just kind of live this homeless life together.
Twice last week, we paid 2 days for barbecues out at Royer. Bought a bunch of hot dogs to feed a bunch of people. I even bought vegan hot dogs at Trader Joe's, so that way, because there's some vegan people out here. And then, yesterday, we were hanging out at the Civic Center all day, and I just bought 2 pizzas so that all of us that were hanging out together, we could all eat that day.
A lot of people don't realize that a lot of people out here have been through so much tragedy. They've been victimized. By and large, everybody is very caring and compassionate. If I have something, I'll help you out, vice versa. They put up so many barriers, they can't shower. They have nowhere to shower. I was homeless, literally drinking water out of the creek. like, people don't realize how difficult it is for somebody on the streets that have absolutely no money to get an ID.
It's like you have to pass, or like an escape room, actually. It's like you have to figure out whatever the code is that they left for you out there in the world.
The lack of housing, the lack of, I don't know, people trusting you to know that you're going to be a good tenant.
Well, now I have a small income. I go into a temp agency, and it's kind of like they're giving me like 8 hours a week so far because I'm trying to get more, but it's not that much. So it's like, but if I start getting more, then I have to go to the county and say, hey, this is what I'm making now, and then they'll take my food stuff away.
But today we're actually going to be giving up our dog to our brother, or to my brother, which is really sad for us because he brings us so much joy every day. Like, we wake him up with a song every morning, and he gives kisses and stuff. But we have to give him up so that we can get housing faster. And this is a sacrifice that we have to make. But it's going to be the best for all of us. You know, because at least he's not going to have to be out here in the hot.
So I'm doing the best I can right now to get off the streets. It's difficult because one lives on the streets for so many years. And they get used to a certain lifestyle. It's very difficult sometimes to break away from certain patterns of behavior that we're used to. It's a comfort zone type thing. So it does take, sometimes months to a few years to rehabilitate oneself with the help of others.
During the day, hang out with a few friends. We get in a little trouble here and there, but when you're not inside or you can't go inside to too many places and you're outside, trouble's bound to find you.
And on the subject of exhaustion, that's a lot of the reason a lot of us are out here, because the longer you're out here, the longer you're exposed to the elements, and that's cumulative. It stacks. Like, as opposed to those with homes, they get to go home after a hard day out in the heat or a cold day out in the winter, and they get to go home and reacclimate and clean up and dry off, and then they're ready for the next day. They can go back out and do it again. But the homeless, they don't have that. So even if opportunities come for them, they're too tired to take advantage.
Can't really be sober, I heard, when you're living on the streets. When you live on the tracks, when you live on a bus stop, can't be sober for that. It's not easy. I hate the streets, I really do, and that's what keeps me on the streets half the time.
What keeps me homeless is I would have to say addiction, maybe. Part of it has something to do with it, maybe.
What kept me from getting in place was because I had frequent drug activity.
Drugs and alcohol were getting in the way of me paying for rent.
We both were on drugs when we met, but we both quit. We both have been to jail since then. We're both on probation. So that's kind of hindering us getting jobs and stuff because we will have felonies on our record or pending felonies.
Even if you're addicted to cigarettes, if you don't have a cigarette, you're going to be fiending, and you're going to be tapping on every person that you thought was a dirtbag saying, "Can I get a cigarette? Can I get a cigarette?"
But after the last couple of years of sobriety, just step by step, day at a time, a couple years of sobriety, 1 job, 2 jobs, visitation, get off my probation, and maybe when I better my life, I'll be able to better the life of my daughter.
Well, I may not look it, but I'm 60 years old and my body is falling apart. One day I can do just about anything I want, and then the next day I'm tripping over myself, my knees going out, my ankles failing, my back goes out, and then I can't do anything. I was born with this, which has limited opportunities as far as employment.
I have been able to get up out of homelessness several times, renting rooms. Even tried to go back to work and get off disability, but I ended up having a seroma, having complications. I have lymphedema because I also had my lymph nodes removed as well as my breast for treatment for breast cancer.
If I can't get a job, I can't do nothing. I can't move my arm, My ribs are broken, my knees busted up, my spine, my neck. I just can't do what I used to do, and I'm a roofer by trade, and I'm afraid of heights now.
Within the first 6 months of being homeless, I had a pulmonary embolism. And they were saying I was being in the car too long and too much blood has gone down to my legs.
My epilepsies keep me in the streets because I can't get a job. There's nothing I can do. I could have a seizure at any second. That's what's keeping me in the streets right now. I just need someone to help me.
I've been living here homeless for several years, and I receive services at Mental Health Kirby Hills, and I filed for Social Security benefits, and I am a recipient of that now.
I'm on Social Security and I work for IHSS, so that gives me an income, which is triple of $650 rent, that I should already be housed.
I've applied for SSI 3 times. No, 5 times. And I've been denied 5 times.
I don't have any income. I tried to apply for disability, but they denied me, and then I didn't fight it. I was thinking I was going to qualify for Social Security, but somebody just told me that they switched the minimum to 65. I don't know how they can tell you 62 your whole life and then at the last minute change it. So it's just out of reach. Dangle the carrot in front of you, so to speak.
You're supposed to have the right to sleep law now. You get the right to sleep for 8 hours and you got to get up and move. I don't know if that's actually in effect.
I wake up, hopefully if I'm in a good spot, because a lot of times we get pushed out every night, you know, different places, so it's kind of hard. Like, whenever Roseville PD has their guard down, we get to sleep anywhere, but if not, you know, we are pretty much terrorized all night till we find a spot to finally sleep.
And I'd get frequent tickets for loitering or for trespassing and that kind of thing, so it amounted to a lot of fines I had to pay.
I have to change places every day because of Officer Flood was on the duty then. If anybody knows Officer Flood, he was he'd taken your sleeping bags and throw them in the creek, and it'd be in the middle of winter and it's raining, and just throw them in the creek.
The scary thing is that, yes, we've had some run-in with law enforcement because I can't afford to register our home. And the last officer that saw our tag, he decided to make it really nice and wrote a failed taillight as a criminal offense, not a fix-it ticket. The registration as a criminal offense. An expired license as a criminal offense, which takes them from being misdemeanors to either gross misdemeanor or felony. That puts each ticket at $1,000 plus, and there's 4 of those that I couldn't afford to pay and couldn't even afford to show up in court to make arrangements on. So now I'm looking at the fact that the next time we get pulled over, they'll take our house away and I go to jail. Each morning when I wake up, it's 2 words out of my mouth, and that's God, please. Each night when I go to bed, it's 2 words out of my mouth, and it's God, thank you. And my biggest worry is what's going to happen to the woman I love. When we started out, I could care for her. Now, I care with her.
Yeah, they saved me. Like they save me every day.
Yeah, we save each other, I think, every day.
If people are that concerned, stay a few days on the streets with no money, no purse, no nothing, and understand the lifestyle.
Yeah, we'll throw billions of dollars at it. But let me see, out of this billions of dollars, that person, that person, that person, that person, and that person who's advising gets paid. And then all of a sudden, where'd all the money go? The people that are getting the money to do things with basically have never walked a mile in our moccasins. My challenge to them, give up your credit cards, your bank account, and your house, and try living the way we do for 1 week. Then you'll know how to handle what we're going through. Because until you've experienced it, you don't know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're adding to the problem, you're not taking away from it.